Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is GGF bringing you episode 70, the big 70 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. Hope you guys are doing well. My temperature is a little bugged out lately. I don't know what happened to it. It's been hitting the 90s the past day or two, and that's weird because I've had it down not even near that, playing the same games and everything. So it's a bit weird. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well and having a great time. We're in Ada's house. We did some quest progress last episode as well. And we told Ada about Darren's fate. And we picked up some cool stuff. We have a fine dagger. So let's get out of here and continue exploring Ondra's gift.
Margaret's fire casts
Shall we?
light in dark places.
Can I see if Aloth can disappear up here somehow to get that? It's only a fruit. Alright, we'll just dive out of here. Weapons and shields grant bonuses that stack, did that say?
And what does the flame reveal?
Alright, we've been down here by that statue. Let's go up here. Can't click that for some reason. Is there a... Okay. Got a refugee. We've had bad harvests before, but this year was the worst it's ever been. Sad to hear that. Mr. Refugee. Alright, so we'll come up here. I'm not sure how far we got. Up here, Branwyn and Gwina. I'm pretty sure we checked them. Yeah, and the Gap-Tooth Smile, we did that, but did we check them? I want to say yes. The woman standing against the backdrop. That was a quite touching one, actually. Let's come up here. I don't remember which place this was, although I have a sneaking suspicion. Yep, it was where we... That's a camping supply, isn't it? Yeah, it was where we dealt with Viana and her captors at the time. Alright, so let's get out of there. Keep exploring Ondra's gift. I don't think we came over this far to the west. The powerful poop holds her hips, thrusting her chest forward as you come near her. Oh, no, that's different. Querazimian. You see a body on a bench, a team of mages and healers buzzing around the room shouting instructions and incantations. A pulsating crystalline device lies in the body's chest cavity, steaming slightly in the magically cooled room. The healers stitch the skin as a priest murmurs healing charms. Finally, it's done. The body is again whole. The mages gather for a final enchantment as the others watch, a complicated ritual that has them sweating rivulets. A hush falls over the room as the body shudders, electricity arcing from side to side, eyes fluttering open. For a moment he's there, but something is wrong. He goes to scream and he's gone. The Room is silent as they trail out, overcome, but something stays, not quite tangible, and shouts wordlessly as it sees its own body for the first time. I guess he was a doctor or something, or maybe he was the patient. Justiciar? Keep your guard up and your weapon ready while you're in the gift. Noted. We can only go this far over this way, so let's head back. Another doorway. Thugs. A rope and grappling hook. Dragon. Or brigand. What are you looking at? Get out of my face. I got as much right to stand here as the guys going into that whorehouse. They don't like what I got to say, they can go someplace else. Show him the dagger you found on Darren. This belonged to you? That's mine, alright, and no one touches my dagger and lives. I'd like to see you try. I don't want to roll with that answer, even though we are going to attack. I want to confront him about killing the boy. You murdered a boy here 2 days ago. What the hell are you talking about? Even if I did kill some runt, you've got nothing to prove it. Show the dagger. Let's see you try. Alright, here we go. Itamak, attack the thug.
I'm here.
Attack the thug.
Following your
Kana,
lead.
attack the thug.
Hey there. Hey.
Adair, attack Bragan.
Hey there.
I'll come up here. Attack Bragan. Stag mode.
What?
Adair. Mess them all up. Thug seems to be a priest. Thug priest. Thug life. Bragan is near death. And he's down. Let me go take care of this priest. Whoa. 32. Sagani is stuck. No, she isn't. Attack that one. Endurance. Ella, fire over here. Nice. Wow, handling our BI. Business. Okay, that'll take care of that quest. Or I don't know if that was part of a quest. 18 skate, 6 Lucia. Some armor and stuff.
Sure.
A waterlogged grimoire, we'll check that out. A fine leather armor. 88 copper alds. Glenfathan used relatively large crude copper coins called alds. Knots that are worth more than a deer wood in pond due to their high copper content. You don't see that too often. Nice find though. Two swola. Very good.
I'm on the trail.
So I don't know. Do we have to report back to the brothel about that? I don't think so. Maybe though. Let's come in here and check it out. Brian Walker, Brill. Brian Walker, you see a young man contort, screaming, strapped to a wooden table. Above him, a machine crackles, tiny strikes of lightning caressing his emaciated frame. A trio of mages chant around him, eyes white, hands lifted in benediction of their agonized victim. It goes on for more time than you could say, before the screams stop, replaced by hoarse, stabbing sobs and silence. A silver-haired woman enters, kissing him on his forehead, motherly hands soothing, cajoling. He quiets, unable to speak for screaming, and waits for a death he'll never see. Yikes.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea.
A dozen tiny somethings
Which is
squirm within the pot
not
of rice.
very
Just an egg. The bed is as stiff as a plank. The worn, grimy blankets feel as if they'd come apart in the wash. Real. You see a dark, foreboding room heavy with incense smoke. Two figures stand in the center of the room, performing some sort of ritual with slow, exact, deliberate motions. This man follows along with the actions of an older man, and it becomes obvious the older man is teaching the younger one how to perform the ritual. He calls out steps, corrects imperfections, and berates the young man when he missteps. Watching the younger man's motions, you note he seems to be intentionally making mistakes, but what he hopes to accomplish with this you can't discern. As the ritual continues, the master becomes more irritated with the young man. He walks over, leans in, and begins chastising him eye to eye. This appears to be what the young man was waiting for. The young man takes advantage of his master's distraction. Dropping the censer he is holding, he locks eyes with the older man, completely focused on his target. A wisp of energy leaps from the younger eyes to the older, and the master stands up, eyes now milky white, rocking unsteadily on his feet. The young man never breaks his gaze on the older, slowly circling him, almost seeming disappointed. He stops toe-to-toe and looks disdainfully into the blank eyes. "Is that it?" he whispers, staring his master down like a snake. "How did I ever think you had anything to offer me?" He blinks and twists his head to the side, turning heel and striding from the room. Bright blue mist flows from the master's eyes and mouth, wrapping sinuous tendrils around his body. It slides across his arms, working its way to his abdomen, down over his legs. The mist speeds up, moving faster as it circles the master's body, glowing brighter as it does. The speed increases until it no longer looks like mist, but a shimmering cocoon surrounding the old man's body. A faint humming buzz emanates from the mist, growing louder and more focused by the second. The young man stops in the doorway, looking back at the older man, only a mild interest in his eyes. With a whoosh, the air around the master ignites, starting him on fire. The smell of his own burning breaks him from his reverie, and a scream erupts from his lungs. The young man turns around again, unmoved, and walks away, leaving no one to hear his master's dying cry. So it almost makes me want to wonder if we're supposed to,
I'll take a peek.
Maybe take him out, or think about taking him out for being evil? I don't know. Or this is just a house with inconsequential characters. I wonder if any of them have unique gear or anything. I don't know. Alright, so let's keep exploring the gift. Seen that. Prizefighter's gap-toothed smile. Ah, another door. Unlock with rusty bronze key. Nice. What do we have here? Oh dang. Find and confront the thugs. Deal with the instigator behind the attacks. Now this is for the salty mast. Okay, now we know.
Gods keep you.
Offray wears a defiant expression and a sturdy yet battered suit of armor. She seems to bear each scratch and ding with pride. "You don't look like one of the knights. Can I help you with something?" "Who are you?" "I'm Offray. Offra, a lieutenant with the dozens." She taps her dented breastplate. "We're the last fighting force in Defiance Bay that remembers what it means to be Deerwooden. And unfortunately, I'm the only one who seems to care about the way Maya's squeezing the locals. I'm here about the trouble at the Salty Mast. Ordinary Kith are angry, as they should be with that crooked Almawa toadying up to the nobles." She sneers. "She's using the tragedy of Widewen's legacy to line her pockets. She's no better than the Adiran overlords we drove out 200 years ago. People around here know you to be an honest broker. Maya's made it so only the rich can afford her establishment, yet she sits in the poorest district of Defiance Bay. How's that fair? We've taken matters into our own hands, but she's the real criminal here. Why don't you tell her to go back down? That's a good point. I'll see if I can get Maya to lower her prices. Frey nods. I'm glad you see our side. Confront Maya in the brothel to Ondra's gift.
And what do we have here?
Someone stashed a few sooty playing cards under the bed. 2 pearls, no kidding. I mean, they shouldn't have turned to violence for that, but I'm not a judge in that respect. We're just gonna see their point and see if we could do something about it. Palagina.
God's damn that son of a coon.
Oh. The angry woman clenches her jaw and stares out toward the harbor with glimmering golden eyes. Eventually sensing your presence, she turns her feathered head toward you.
Want to run a down on its luck Valiant Trading Company? If you have more than half a brain, you could really do something with it.
What? She clenches her jaw and continues quietly.
As long as you're willing to clean up a few bloodstains.
What's going on exactly?
Exactly? If I knew that, I'd be in a better mood. The only thing I know exactly is that Mestre Verzano is determined to wind up in a grave before the season turns.
Huh. The woman looks back at the warehouse for a moment and grimaces. After a slight nod in your direction, she storms off. Aww.
Slow and silent.
Valiant Trading Company. Olmadon, McNeely, and Moore's Somnus. Mestre Verzano gives the orders around here. Carugo.
Welcome.
Come take a look at my wares. Exotic goods shipped straight from the Republics and Old Valia. Show me what you have. Oh my gosh. He's got all kinds of magical stuff. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my gosh. A Vithrak brain. We needed that for something. Yeah, these are... Wow. Look what he's got, son. Oh my gosh. Awakened Roots. Binding Copper. Beagle Dog. Calico Cat. What? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Wild Strike Belt. Seeking to augment the power he wielded, even while in the skin of a bear, one ancient druid crafted this belt with taps into the power of a druid's spirit shift to put added force behind each of his druid strikes. For each of the druid strikes, the belt is enchanted to accommodate whatever form the wearer takes, allowing those in more feral shapes to enjoy the benefits of the belt's magic. Usable by Druid, grants Wild Strike Burn on Spirit Shift, 10% Wild Strike damage for 12 seconds. Nice. That's only 8.25. We could buy that for me. Brishogwin Mind Marker. That's interesting. The Brishogwin, or Mind Hunters, were known throughout Eric Lonfoth centuries before Adiran and Valian Animancers introduced formal scholarship on ciphers to the continent. They were respected and feared for their abilities to perceive soul connections. When Adiran colonists first settled in the Deerwood, they quickly aroused the ire of their Glonfothan neighbors by trespassing, sometimes accidentally and sometimes intentionally, on Engwithin ruins. An Orlan of the 3, Tusk Stelgar tribe, a mute but preternaturally gifted cipher, used her abilities to monitor the border ruins and track the colonists who encroached upon them. To aid in her investigations, the Onumfoth of 3 Tusk Stelgar gave her this amulet, thought to be a relic of the Engwithans themselves. The public gift of such a revered artifact was a political move as well as a practical one, and it galvanized Glonfothan resistance to the settlers, particularly within Three Tusks Stelgar. It was lost, however, when the Cypher was killed in a raid on a farming settlement. Only usable by Cypher, 10% focus gain. Maybe we're picking up a Cypher soon. Maybe that's what that chick was. Pelagina. Cloak of the Tireless Defender. The most famous battle of the Saints' War, other than the one that took place at Halgot Citadel, was the sack of Mercy Vale. While the main force of St. Widewind's army marched on the Deerwood from the north, 2 brigades approached from the east, reaching Cold Morn from a pass through the White March. The villagers of Cold Morn allowed the Rayed Sarens to continue unopposed, an act of cowardice that still draws curses from Deerwoodans today. The soldiers headed north, planning to join the rest of the army at New Yarma. The villagers of Mercy Vale had little warning and no time to prepare, but they fought to hold the Rayed Sarens back as long as they could. Though the town was burned to the ground after a few days of fighting, the delay allowed the villages and tribes on the way to New Yarma to organize successful guerrilla campaigns. It's widely believed that the battle at Mercy Vale, as well as the many skirmishes in the wilds, kept the Rayed Sarens from reaching Halgot Citadel before the Godhammer was in place. When survivors and family members eventually returned to see what was left of Mercy Vale, this cloak was one of the only items that had escaped the flames. Completely undamaged, it draped the corpse of a warrior who had fallen in the middle of the town, the body so covered in wounds that identification was impossible. Wow. Usable by a fighter, modifies constant recovery. What does that mean, modifies constant recovery? Huh. That's weird. Don't know what it really does. Amulet of Jokate. This amulet was taken from the ruins of Glonfoth by Imperial agents in 2664 AI, attempting to shatter this new and fragile peace between Gref Admeth Hadret and the Glonfothans. They found themselves in possession of numerous powerful and mysterious artifacts. Adiran wizards and animancers took a particular interest in this piece, particularly when an Imperial Watcher claimed to see the soul of the forests of the Deerwood within it. However, when one of the wizards studying the amulet was driven mad, research ground to a halt. The artifact changed hands, and it was believed to have been stolen back by a Glonfothan rogue. The teardrop-shaped amulet hangs from a silver rope. It bears an image of a cardinal in flight on the front and runic engravings on the back. Wearing it produces a strange vibration that is felt rather than heard, as if something in the amulet resounds within the wearer's very soul, +2 resolve. Belt of the Stelgar. Commissioned by a wealthy nobleman in New Haomar, this leather belt has been dyed to resemble the felines for which it is named. Much taken by accounts of the fearsome beasts, the eccentric nobleman gathered pelts and hunting trophies, though he had never seen any of the creatures in person. When commissioning this belt, this nobleman insisted upon an enchantment which would grant him the Stelgar's grace and poise. Despite these mundane origins, the enchantment proved very effective. While the belt won't guarantee that the wearer will land on their feet after a fall, it will see them back in fighting stance more quickly. 33% knockdown duration, -33%, and +2 dexterity. Nice. The Ring of Wonder. Ooh. The Druidic Order of the Ovates of the Golden Grove believe that the Ring of Wonder is the sapling of one of the great trees that surrounds Ter Evron in Twin Elms. One day they say it will grow into an even mightier tree, root-like fibers twined together, sprouting from a shining green bud. The ring adjusts to the finger of the wearer, but removing it can be a painful experience as the roots bond to flesh. Grants second chance on unconscious, 1 per rest. Wow. 1 constitution, might, and resolve, and second chance. Revive with 30 endurance. Nice. And finally the rot. Oh no, there's more? No, just the rot finger gloves. These gloves were worn by a healer in Old Valia who lived in a village stricken by a terrible plague. While most fled, he stayed behind, restoring the few he could and easing the suffering of those he could not. In time, the disease spread to him, melting the flesh off his face and raising boils on his arms, but leaving his hands, eyes, and mental faculties untouched. His exposure to the illness had inoculated him against its most pernicious effects, leaving him disfigured but capable. Grants touch of rot, 3 per rest, and spreading plague, 3 per rest. Spreading plague, area of effect, the foe target plus 5 jump targets, makes them hobbled for 15 seconds, weakened for 15 seconds, and same as the jump targets, accuracy plus 10, that's pretty good, especially to have 3 of them per rest. Touch of rot, 5 meter radius, foe AoE 12 to 20 corrode damage, plus 15 accuracy versus fortitude, and 29.3 corrode over 8 seconds. Those are pretty cool too. As to what we're going to buy right now, I think we'll buy... Let's sell the Fine Dagger. We have to check the Waterlogged Grimoire. Sell that. Sell the Potion of Spirit Shield. And if we look in the stash, there's plenty of items. Medium and small. In S-Stock. Sabers are pretty rare. Dagger. Ooh, a pistol. Sell the sword. Very good, very good. Zorb Champion Spear we still have. Ah, here we go. Leather armor, fine leather armor. Leather armor. Leather armor, leather armor. Leather armor. Leather armor. Padded armor. Okay, very good. And some more helmets. Prayer Against Infirmity. Primal Flames go for 14 apiece. We have 14 of them. No, 4 of them. 14 Moonstones. They're pretty rare though. We'll just sell 3 of them. 30 Vessel Bones. Just sell 5 of them in case they... There's a lot to them. Spirit Residue 16. We'll sell 2 of them. And I guess that's good. Zorb Tongues, okay. Balloon 10, so 1, 1279, trade, now we have 2960. Belt of the Stelgar. 2 dexterity, 33% knockdown duration. The Ring of Wonder is 5,300. The Raw Finger Gloves are 6k. Amulet of Jokate is 3,000. Cloak of the Tireless Defender. I wish it'd say how it modified it. Had escaped the flames completely undamaged. Would fall into the middle of town. The body so covered in wounds. Identification was impossible. So it's modifying it somehow in a good way. Letting you take a lot of damage, I guess. Makes constant recovery faster or something. I don't know. And I think we're going to want the Wild Strike belt, but let's come here. Okay, I don't have a belt. And the Stelgar cloak would have to replace the Spell Ward Amulet. 10 defense against spells. That can go to someone else, probably for Fulvano's amulet. Maybe nobody should use that. Kana, yeah. We'll just put that in the stash. And we'll get a dare. Let's quick save. And then we'll see what it modifies. If we buy both Wild Strike Belt and the Cloak of the Tireless Defender for 2,400, I could put the belt on. And make sure if we go to our character sheet, Wild Strike Freeze. I'm not seeing it. Wild Strike Freeze. Greater Wild Strike Freeze. Yeah, what is it called? Grants Wild Strike Burn on Spirit Shift. Huh. See if I can use my wild.
Yeah?
Left shift. Huh. I won't know that until we get into combat. And if we give him the cloak, I won't know that. What that modifies, it looks like. Rapid recovery. Increasing the rate. He already had that though. I guess it's just been added. Yeah, it'll be an improved constant recovery, I guess. I don't want to buy it and then like not be able to figure this out, so we've got to figure out. Let me try taking that off and seeing. Ah, so it is modified. It improves it a bit more to recover even more. That is awesome. Gives it a +2 for endurance per 3 seconds for 45 seconds. Even more recovery. I'll take it. But I'm not sure. I'm not seeing the belt in action. Wild Strike Burn. Speed Instant. I guess it'll be an ability. When we Wild Strike... Modifies Wild Strike Freeze plus 15% damage. Plus 30% damage is freeze. I don't get it. Let's take off the belt. So I'm going to reload. And for right now, we'll just buy the constant recovery cape. And we'll save the Spirit Strike belt or whatever for some other time. When we have an enemy, we can test it again. Or the Wild Strike belt. When we have an enemy, we can test it again. So let's buy the Cloak of the Tireless Defender. Give that to... There, very nice. He's beastly.
Laying low. Sure.
Was this the Salty Mast? No, I don't think so. It was the warehouse or something, or the Valiant Trading Company. Let's come down this way. Immoral. The ropes dangling from the crane, the sway in the ocean breeze. Some payday this turned into. Fisherman. Tide's in. If you're wanting to get down to the shoreline, you'll have to wait until daylight. Wow. Getting in a little bit there. Let's see, we're 38 minutes in. Alright, let's come talk to Immoral.
Hail and well met.
An old man paces the dock and looks out over the water. He's fussing over something large and round, which he constantly shifts from one hand to the other. You're not certain whether his wide-eyed, gape-mouthed expression marks surprise or fear. It seems he isn't either. You, don't look like a guard. He examines you and your equipment more closely. Say, you wouldn't be interested in making some coppers, would you? He shows you the object in his hand. It's a large round opal with runes carved into it. It glistens with his sweat. See the ship that went down over there? I've been looking for someone to help me recover some missing cargo. Oh, a model. Or Immatil. How's business? He spits into the water. I'll be glad to sail with captains who are more careful about their cargo from now on. I don't give a worm's wings about the Duke's trafficking laws, but I'm too old to fight ancient horrors. He takes a deep breath of the salty air. I just want to enjoy my twilight years doing an honest day's work. The model gazes out over the water. Anything else you need? Tell me about Ondra's gift. He scratches his sunburned scalp. We've got docks, fishing, and steady ship traffic. All this. He waves at the listing shanties crowded against one another. This sprang up around the docks. It's the poorest district in Defiance Bay, but one of the liveliest. He grins. And for lively, nothing beats a salty mast. You'd do better to ask a younger man than me if you want to know about that place. He nods towards a large round building to the east. Imatil doesn't sound like a Deer Wooden name. That's because it isn't. It's from the Exomatil Plains, a broad savanna north of the Deerwood. Not so different from the ocean in a way. There are places where you can stand and turn a full circle and see nothing but the winds making waves in the grass. He watches the surf lapping against the wrecked boat. But at moments like this, I wonder what business a plainsman like me had taking to the water. Tell me more about this missing cargo. He licks his lips. We started in cold morn and we're making our way down the river, loading and unloading as we went. Business as usual. What exactly happened? He massages the opal in a clammy palm. When we reached Aina's Rest, we may have agreed to take on a few crates from some place called Cleobon Relog. A couple of the lads snuck a peek at the cargo, saw suits of armor and a broken scepter. He shrugs. Don't know why anyone would want a broken anything, but these animancers will buy dirty stockings if you say they came from the ruins. He closes his hand around the opal in a white-knuckled grip. We were almost to Defiance Bay when this screaming started. I've seen my share of barroom brawls, but this sounded different. I was topside with the captain when he and the first mate went below deck to see what all the commotion was about. When they didn't come back, I looked into the hold. He shudders. I saw one of those suits of armor walking around all by itself. It was covered in blood. When it saw me, it started running for the hatch, so I closed it. He squeezes his eyes shut. So how did you had to keep those monsters from getting out? Imatil shakes his head, his eyes still closed. That's what I keep telling myself. He rolls the stone between his hands. I'm just a deckhand, but I was the only one left. I piloted the ship as best I could, but I hit rocks as we were passing Brackenberry. I barely made it to Ondra's gift before I had to jump overboard and swim for the docks. I'd given up on the cargo, not to mention the payday, when one of the lads pulled this up in his nets. He shows you the opal again. It's part of that scepter. From what I recall, there were 3 other pieces, and I bet you anything they're somewhere in the shallows, too. If anyone could find them, there'd be profit to follow. There must be a reason you haven't gone looking for the rest of the artifact yourself. I'm lucky to have escaped the ship like I did. I'm not taking a chance with those things. Have you talked to the Crucible Knights about this? And admit that I was smuggling relics? He shakes his head. I doubt they'd arrest me, but I also doubt I'd see any coin from this mess. What happens if I find the rest? You find the missing pieces of the artifact, and I've got an animancer friend from my expedition days who will find you a stack of coppers. He scratches his beard. All I want out of this is a few hundred pawns for my lost payday. If that sounds fair to you, I'll give you this stone in the name of my contact once you have everything else. Amato regards the opal again. Seeing as the kid dredged this stone up in his net, I'd wager you could possibly find the missing pieces out in the shallows during low tide. About that Ingwithan relic, yes? Do you have any idea what your animancer friend wants with this relic? She was always tinkering with these things back when we were young. I used to think she was the fool, retiring to some dusty study in Brackenberry. But after that horror on the boat, I'm thinking she made the wiser choice. Farewell. New quest, find the missing pieces of the Ingwithan scepter and Ondra's gift.
Nice and quiet.
But I'm going to save here, guys, and say thank you for joining me. I do hope you enjoyed. A lot going on here. Lots of juicy stuff. So I hope to see y'all next time. If you did enjoy, though, please like, comment, subscribe. It is a great help to my channel and greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to become a huge help to the channel and me, you can become a member. Info in the description along with the proper links. And yeah, episode 70 is a success. So much juicy stuff in Ondra's gift. I had no idea it would be this populated and interesting with all this stuff going on. So we'll check it out more next time. There's a huge dock section to check out. Boats. All sorts of stuff. A lighthouse, it looks like. Interesting, interesting. So, do come back next time. Until then, be well, live well, stay well. Much love, peace, and joy. There's the broken down boat. Awesome. Can't wait. So we will tackle this in episode 71. I will see y'all when I see y'all. All right, guys. Peace. Ciao for now.